Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing coming to you with another video. This time I am using a kit from Collage Type. That's Nanine over there at Collage Type. I was gifted a kit of my choice to go ahead and do a design team project. So I'm going to be creating with this kit. It is the Forget Me Not kit. So as you can see, I've already cut out a bunch of the bits. So these are some of the things I will be using. Gorgeous, gorgeous kit. So I've just got all the little bits. So I'm going to be stuffing these pockets. I've got a little tag here. I already cut out a little tab for it. And then I've got some circles that I also just cut so that they can be additional journaling spots. This one is the kit printed on a piece of tissue paper and then backed and then put on top of a book page and then backed with some coffee dyed paper. And then a couple little bits. I do have a stack of the other offcuts that I may tap into in this project. This is probably going to be a voiceover. Today I'm just going to do the intro and just kind of talk about what we're going to be doing. I am feeling a little bit scattered today. I had my first official PT appointment about my back and I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling really overwhelmed with that and some other things personally that are going on. So I just feel like it's a better benefit to you if I just go ahead and just create kind of in my quiet place, and I'll do a voiceover and talk you through everything that we're doing. That works better for me when I'm feeling a little bit undone, which is how I'm feeling today. So, so I've got some bits that we're going to be using in the kit, and some of these are shrunk down to, I believe, 2 to a page, so shrunk down 50%. This one and this envelope, or whatever it's supposed to be. I didn't even really look at the paper to see what this is actually supposed to be. I'm going to use it my own way. And then we're going to do a triple envelope kind of flip thing. So this is the way it's going to work. Let me separate this stuff out by which envelope it is. So that's that one. And this is this one. And then this is this envelope. And then we've got a small envelope. Let me try to get these in frame here, guys. Sorry. And then we've got our papers for the top of these. Well, this envelope. So, what? Oh, it's not even in view here. Oh goodness, wrong way. My view is still backwards on my monitor, so I'm getting used to it, but can't figure out how to fix it. So, there we go. So this is going to be the front. It's kind of the cover or the base, the first base, and I did score it a little bit. To give it a little bit of room to grow. Everything has already been inked. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to show you first what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to go ahead and just be quiet and do the voiceover. So that envelope's going to go like this. This one's going to flip out like this, and then this one is going to flip that way from the top that way. So, the only thing I did, I was trying to prep this before I went to my PT this morning, and I realized that if I cut any envelopes open or the tops to create pockets, I will have to adjust my papers, which is not a big deal at all. So, that being said, I'm going to reach for my ink because I did not pull that out. I just got back from my appointment. So, let's just get started. So we're going to start by putting our envelopes together. As I showed earlier, I do have 3 envelopes. One pretty large one, a small one that's going to be here on the side of the larger envelope, and then a very small envelope. So I am gluing the flap of the smaller envelope to the side of the larger envelope. As you can see here, I will provide the dimensions of each of these envelopes in case anybody wants to know that. I am using my my Fabri-Tac just because I didn't want to hassle with the persnickety nature of art glitter glue, so that's what I'm doing there. I was thinking briefly about leaving that flap open, but I decided against it, so I'm going to go ahead and glue it shut. There, I just had to get up and shut the shade. It got really bright and distracting in the studio, so I did close the shade and turned on some more internal lights, just in case you're wondering what that little bit was about. So again, just gluing that flap down. And as you can see there, I did create a little bit of a gap with some scoring on the envelope just to allow some room for expansion within the this little envelope folder. So it's going to fold kind of in a tri-fold fashion. Just looking at it to make sure everything is nice and lined up. They were. Did not have to trim anything off. I used the envelopes just as they were. But I did come in. I do want to make some pockets, so I trimmed off that edge of the small envelope and then the far left-hand side of the other envelope. So yeah, so I had pre-cut my papers as well, so I do have to do some adjusting because I didn't account for having to trim off that sliver off of the edges to create the pockets, but it all works out in the end, as you'll be able to see. I'm going to glue that flap to the top left-hand panel of the larger envelope. I'm just making sure that it's pretty even from edge to edge. I'm going to go ahead and put the papers on the front and back of the small envelope. They're not very big, and actually I had a little meeting or a visit with a dear friend yesterday, the day that I actually filmed this and made it from beginning to end, and I just really felt like it was something that she needed to have. So this folio envelope dealio is already out the door, and she was so blessed, and it brought tears, and tears of gratitude, tears of joy, tears of what it feels like to just be blessed. So that was a really beautiful moment for me. I love that that can happen, and I just felt like we were going through some of my stash. I was going to give her some envelopes to use for her own work, and I wanted to show her this, and then I was like, if you like it, you can take it home. So that was pretty darn cool. So just finishing up gluing here, and as you can see there, I am leaving that, I was pointing at it a minute ago while I was yakety-yakking, right there where you don't see the glue. It's important to leave that without glue, otherwise you'll be gluing your pocket shut. So, and I forgot to actually slice the edge of this one, so I do it once it was already glued on. It was a little bit more challenging to do that way, but it was okay. And that is just popping up, so I am wiggling it a little bit to bring it out. It's still popping up quite a bit, so I'm just going to use my bone folder and just burnish that edge, and that seemed to fix the problem. And so here's where I'm contemplating, oh man, I didn't make my slit in the side, so I'm just going to do it while it's attached here. Kind of in a weird way, I'm trying to figure out how to make that work. This is, I apologize, I'm sure I said it at the beginning. I did the video yesterday again, but this is a design team project for Nanine over at Collage Type. This is her Forget-Me-Not kit. Absolutely stunning images, and Forget-Me-Nots are so, so beautiful. I actually have a little baby's foot on my collarbone, a tattoo, and it is little baby feet with Forget-Me-Nots, so they're very meaningful to me. So yeah, really beautiful kit. I hope that you'll hop on over to her shop, and I'll be sure to link provide all her links in the video description so that you guys can check it out. She's got some beautiful work out there. She has a daisy kit that's just quite lovely, but I had already started using another kit from another creator before I saw her kit, but it is absolutely divine, so I hope you'll check her out. I'm just putting that base on the that far left panel, and because again I did trim off and open that side up for a pocket, I do have to do a little bit of trimming here and there. Just going to ink kind of as I go too, because when we trim edges off, then we lose that original inked beautiful edge. So I did cut a bunch of pockets and such using pages from the kit that I printed on vellum. It's one of my favorite things to do, especially with pockets. So I created a little pocket there. I did all this prep off camera just because I'm in another kind of out of sorts place, and so my thinking is not really great, and it's kind of like popcorning a little bit. So I decided to just prep everything. I did put a thumb notch in there in case you didn't see that. With my circle punch, I actually have to put a thumb notch on using a piece of paper behind the vellum, otherwise it will not cut the vellum. Just in case you're ever wondering why that doesn't work, if you just put a piece of paper, preferably a heavier paper, behind it, you can get it to punch just fine. I'm going to go ahead and start putting the papers on the back as well. I'm going to go ahead and let you watch here for a few minutes. Absolutely adore this rose image. I'm not sure how a rose kind of got in this kit, but I am so glad that she added it, because it is just to die for. I will definitely be using that rose in other projects, even if I'm not using one of her kits. It's really, really beautiful. Roses are my favorite flower, and they have a very sentimental, deep reason in my life. So yeah, they're quite beautiful. I don't even care what color they are. My sister, when we first reunited, she gave me a bouquet of yellow roses because she remembered that those are what I like. So that was pretty cool. And I don't like to let them dry. I mean, I don't like to let them die. I have a lot of trouble. I don't like to see things die. I don't like to see flowers die. So I did, when they started to get a little bit wilty, I did pull out 4 roses out of the bouquet, and I went ahead and dried them, kind of hung them upside down and did that old-fashioned drying technique. And so each rose represents one of us. So we have, there's myself and 3 sisters. So I thought that was pretty cool. And so there again, I'm guarding that place that you don't see the glue on the base, because I want to make sure that I don't glue that pocket shut. So it's still a tricky thing for me to get my mind around for some reason. So I do pause and think again about what I'm doing to make sure that I don't make a mistake there and glue my pocket shut. A little bit more trimming again, because I did open up. And I also realized what happened here is I had pieces cut for the smaller envelope, not the super small one, but the one that was glued to the side, that was slightly different measurements. So I did have to do a little bit of fussing because I got them out of order, which wasn't a huge deal, but I did have to trim a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and put the last 2 pieces on, and I'm going to just let you watch. That is one of the vellum pockets that I was talking about. I was thinking about just going ahead and putting that on, but I am waiting until I get all the panels on, and then we'll start looking at the pockets. I did get some of the pockets mixed up too, because when I separated those papers from the envelope, when I originally cut them out, I did lose track a little bit of which pockets and such were to go on each panel. Again, it didn't really matter. I did make a big boo-boo on the very far back the middle panel for the back. That was kind of tricky. So I tried to glue some lace on trying to make a pocket, but you'll see that in a little bit. And then I'm like, I don't want a pocket on the back of the folio. So I'm going to put this strip, a side tuck there on the bird page. the bird panel there. I was all kinds of turned around. I had just gotten back from the beach with my sister when I was cutting and prepping all this, so I was a little bit fatigued. We had a great time, but it was really it was exhausting. We did a lot of walking, and with my back, that was quite something. Worth it. It's good for me to keep moving as long as I'm careful. And I did finally get the regimen for my physical therapy, so I will be I'm scheduled 10 weeks out for physical therapy twice a week, which I'm glad. I'm so grateful because I don't want surgery. They did say, this PT guy said that he does believe there's disc involvement in terms of herniation because of the pain that I'm describing and how my body's responding to the PT. So, but we believe that we can correct that just with strengthening my core and such. So just a little bit of personal information there. I'm a little bit bummed because I was trying to be really conscientious about the impact on my appointments with my work schedule and the students. So it ends up being quite a lot of my personal time that's hard. It's hard for me to give that up because I like my routines, and I like being able to come home from work and just sit down at the craft table and craft for a little bit before I have to prepare dinner for my husband and things like that. But it is what it is, and I feel good about that decision. So I know that I will have what I need when I need it in all ways, as I always do. So I'm super grateful for that, and feeling optimistic that we can take care of this pain if I follow along and do what I'm supposed to do, which I'm a rule follower, so I do pretty good. So it should be okay. I did cut that corner pocket again out of a piece of vellum. I printed several of the kit pages on vellum just because I wanted to have a lot of choices, and they can always be used in other projects, so I didn't feel too badly about that. And if you want to know how to print on vellum and other papers like rice paper and tissue paper, I do have a video on my channel. I can link that in the video description, and you guys can check it out if you want to. Just trying to figure out, I made this tag out of the rose paper, which I had commented earlier that I really love. That is a punch that I have that I often use for tabs, so I just fold it in half and then glue it over the side. Just finding a little bit of bling. I wanted to bring in the blue into that rose tag, but it just felt out of place, so I do end up, I believe I come in with I think I was going to do the green, and then I did just reach for something else entirely, which you'll see here in a moment. I wanted this to be less frou-frou-y, if that's a word, less feminine, less lacy and such. So it is a little bit more plain than I normally do. But again, I was super happy with it, and how it landed with my friend was perfect because I think that she really liked that. So yeah, it all works out. I'm definitely more vintage and more about the lace and frills and softness. So, but I really love how this turned out. So I hope that you'll check out the still photos at the end of the video so that you can see how it all worked out. I was putting that so it's hanging over the edge, but then when I turned it over and looked, it didn't look right peeking out there. So I did move it down while that Fabri-Tac was still wet. And here's where I was wanting to put something on that back panel. So I grabbed this piece of lace thinking I was going to make a pocket. And so I'm going to let you guys watch because this was kind of a mess. I make the pocket, I put the glue on like I'm going to glue the entire piece of lace to that base on the bottom, which is not what I wanted, even in line with wanting to make a pocket, but I did it because I was tired. And so you're going to see me fuss around and fix that. I do end up taking it off entirely because I did not want a pocket, but I did want a little piece of lace. So I do come back with another lace and put it along the bottom just as a little bit of a trim there. So, but I'm going to go ahead and hush and let you guys watch. I believe here I was letting it dry before I started fussing with that because I didn't want that back panel to stick to my desk. So that's why I'm gone back to grabbing some of the ephemera that I had cut out, and I had already inked the edges. I did not double print them, so it's all white on the back, but I just inked the back as well a little bit to create some interest there. And here I'm going to go in for the second time just to make the pocket, which again I will end up taking off. So it would have been beautiful, but the idea of the lace hanging over is that it's seen as beautiful from the other side, and it didn't look good at all. So I'm just sticking a piece of paper in there. That was my resolution for making sure that that lace wasn't sticking to where I wanted it to be a pocket. And so we're going to continue to go ahead and stuff this too here in a moment. I did my PT this morning, and so I'm hurting a little bit. So I want to check in with him and see if that's how it's supposed to go. I mean, I know it's supposed to be hard, but I want to make sure that the discomfort that I'm feeling is not a bad thing. So I see them again tomorrow. So life is going to get very busy with 2 appointments a week. It's just like, but I will get well and all will be good. And so this is, I'm going to turn it over, I think, here in a moment. And that's when I look and I'm like, no, this is not what I wanted. It did not give me the result that I wanted at all. So there we go. I didn't slow down. I apologize, guys. So I am going to take that off right away. It did not tear the paper, but it did leave a lot of roughness to the back panel. But when I gave it to my friend, I just explained to her what I did. I actually end up building a cluster on the bottom right hand corner of that panel, which helped as well. So it's just a little bit textury from the glue residue, and just found another piece of lace to go ahead and put on the bottom because I did want that little bit of look. I mean, maybe the pocket would have been okay, but it just wasn't feeling like it was right to me. But of course, do as you want, right? That's what it's all about. Following your heart, following what pleases your eye and what speaks to you. So just continuing to figure out where I want things. I did have that little folded over kind of a thing I was going to use as a booklet. I did not end up using it in this project at all. I'm going to cut another couple pieces because I realized that I have the small envelope that I haven't put anything in. And as I mentioned earlier, I did print some of the pages, the ephemera pages, on regular size, and then I did 2 to a page, which shrinks them down to 50% the size, which made them perfect for going ahead and sticking in that smaller envelope. So I'm going to let you watch while I just finish up the ephemera bits here. And there I was just showing kind of demonstrating how rough that base is on the back, but it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and build a cluster to put on the back on the lower right hand corner. Trying to get some ideas. I wasn't feeling very happy about the fact that I had all that glue residue, but again, it worked out just fine. It looks like maybe I need something for that right side pocket. Oh, I lose track so easily. I always, almost always, will print out more than 1 page of each design. So for this purpose, in case I need more pieces, because I actually used the offcut of this one to put on that pocket page where I was trying to keep the lace separated from the back. So I kind of got it a little bit messed up there. It's sitting there on the desk in front of me. But it's not a big deal. That will go into my scrap bin and be used for something else. Just really fussing around because I didn't really have anything prepared that was big enough to go in that pocket. I thought about using that little folded out pocket thing, but it was, again, not big enough. So I think I go and cut another piece of something. I can't remember. Oh yes, so these are tags that come with the kit. I didn't use any of them. I did print them out, and I used some of them for, I think I might have printed this on vellum as well and used it to make some pockets. I can't quite remember. But it's really beautiful to be able to use the kit however it fits you, because there's no rules around it. You can definitely just play until you like what you have and use the papers however you choose. They don't have to be used as they were designed. Like this is a tag, but I did not use it as a tag. I actually made a journal card out of it, and I'm going to attach a tab on the edge, on the long edge, so that it sticks out a little bit out of that pocket. I'm just cutting some more circles there. It's the easiest way to do this. I do need to get out my little die cut machine that sits on my desk, because I have dies that make beautiful tabs, but I always forget, and so I go for the circles because they're easy. So just putting on a circle on the edge and creating the tab there so that there's something to pull out of the pocket. Even though it's not the piece itself, the journal card, is not very deep, I'm going to leave it kind of sticking out so that it can be seen that there is something in that pocket. Often when I create an independent element like this, I do like to have lots of pockets and tags and journal cards, because it's a standalone piece. So it could be a little mini journal. I've actually made these before where I actually sew a signature in to the spine, that little 1/8 of an inch spine that you see there on the left. You could totally put a little bit of paper in there to take a little bit of a booklet. I did not do that in this case, but you certainly could. So there you can see it sticks out just a bit. And I'm pulling, this is new sari silk that I just got a couple weeks ago. I have not used it yet, kind of in the blue tones, and it looks a little bit like a tie-dye type of thing, but I thought it was really pretty. Pulling off all those extra threads, I did save them, and I use them in the cluster, as you'll see here in a minute or so. Just kind of trying to figure out what length I needed there for my closure. And that's where I end up doing the cluster, is on the back. So I'm going to go ahead and let you watch. You guys have seen me do those little cluster bits, so I'm just going to turn on the music and let you watch. Just finishing up this cluster here. I wanted it to be fairly big because I wanted it to cover a larger area there where I had all that glue residue, at least off to the right. Wanted something, I would cut a circle kind of as a little bit of a focal point, but it was too much blue in that space, so went ahead and cut another small circle. I believe that's my 1-inch punch. And then there's the strings from that sari silk. I decided to go ahead and use those, which worked out really, really well. But again, it's already gone out of my house, so I can't even look at it anymore. I just have the pictures. But it went to a good home, so I'm happy about that. Just going to find a quick word there. Often the first thing that I see is what I grab. So this says quiet, and it was very fitting for my friend. So often when we're contemplating hard decisions, we're in deep water in terms of the things we're processing. It's really good to be quiet, to just get quiet, to quit trying to figure it out and just get quiet. We connect with our own soul and our own heart when we do that, and so it's a good thing. Here, just tying on that sari silk closure. Thank you guys so much for coming by. I hope that you enjoyed it. And again, this is a design team project for Nanine at Collage Type. Check her out. Thanks guys. Bye bye.